Hey everybody, today we are going to be taking a look at the upgraded version of the Shin Hati Lightsaber. Recently I reviewed the original version, so today we're going to be comparing the two for their design differences, their blades, and even some differences in the core itself. Let's get to it. At first glance, these two sabers look very similar, but when you really look at the details, they have a lot of differences. So the saber closest to me is going to be the upgraded version of the Shin Hati, and the one closest to you will be the original version. So if we get a close look, we have the same design in general. The hilt looks the same. But when you look at the individual details, we have some differences. So right here at the emitter section, we have the same colored prongs, but if you look at the colors of silver, this is kind of where our differences start out. You're going to have a little bit of a darker finish on the upgraded version and a little bit of a cleaner, lighter finish on the silvers in the original version. And when we get down to kind of the hand grip area here in the part that is very similar to Kanan Jarrus's saber, we have big differences here. So in the original version, if you look at the top, you have a very smooth finish here on it, which is very beautiful. However, if we come over to the new version, take a look at this. We have these awesome design details that are just off of Shin's lightsaber. So this gives it a very screen accurate look and also adds a lot of different elements to it in depth into the lightsaber. If you look at the underside, we have that clean finish on this one, which we also had on the original Shin lightsaber. Making our way a little further down the hilt, right underneath this part, you have these perforated sections. In the original, this one is a very clean look on here, as you can tell. Very beautiful design details. And when you come over to the new version, we get a little more of a worn look, which I think is really beautiful on here. It makes it feel like the saber's been really lived in more. We have the same 2-button design feature on here, so your power and ignition here. But as you can tell, the buttons are a little larger on the new one. This is a detail I really appreciate because when you're actually using the saber and wielding it, it makes it very easy to find those buttons and you have more of a tactile response on them as well. Going down to the actual handle, these features are very similar. We have the same silver stripe on here, the same color, same handle. I will say on the newer version, I think there is a little more texture on it. So that texturing is really nice aesthetically, but also when you are holding it, it is a little easier to grip and feels very comfortable. And down here at the bottom towards the pommel section, I think this is where we have some other really big design features and differences. You have these kind of greebly sections here that are both on the original and the upgraded version. And you can see right off the bat the big difference here. So these kind of protruding longer sections on the original were the same silver as the pommel. And now we have this beautiful black detailing on here. And this really just adds a lot of character to the saber. I love it. And having this kind of darker finish on here, like if you put them side by side, you can really tell the difference. That contrast in color just looks so amazing. Both of them have the D-rings. The D-ring is a little bit smaller on the original and a little longer on the upgraded version. I think this is nice in a way because it makes it a lot easier if you're putting it on a belt clip or anything like that. So aesthetically, those are kind of our big differences. Oh, and then one other thing, if we come back here to the emitter section, if we look at the blacks on here, on the upgraded version, we have more of a matte finish and it's got a smooth texture to it. And on the original, we had more of still a matte, but a little more on the glossy side. So that color difference is very different on there. Aesthetically, that is the major details on there. Another big detail is the original is much lighter than the upgraded version. So there is that difference. However, that is offset by the difference in blades. So let me go ahead and show you that. With the original Shin Hati, we got a 1-inch Neopixel blade, so the little bit of a bigger, thicker blade on there. And what I really love about the new one is it comes with my personal favorite, the 7/8 blade on here. And this is my favorite for a couple reasons. It's a lot lighter, which is really nice. So like I said, it kind of offsets that weight because you made up the weight here with the blade with the original, where the hilt weighs a little more, but the blade's lighter with the new one. And also these things shine a bit brighter in my opinion, just because the LEDs are much closer and fit in kind of a smaller area, so you really get to admire those colors. And then the way we insert these is a little bit different too, and the new one's much simpler, and I appreciate this very much, especially when I'm like at Galaxy's Edge and need to get a blade in quickly. On the original, we had 4 different retention screw areas to put in the blade. And on the new version, it is just 1. And I love that because you can just pop it in, put 1 screw, and you are good to go. As far as the core itself, the original version that we reviewed had the original SN-V4 Neopixel core in it. The new version is actually going to come with the newer SN-V4 Pro, and I love this thing so much. I'm gonna insert a blade and show you exactly why. What makes the new SN-V4 Pros so unique and way better than the original is you are now able to control them with your phone in the ForcePark V2 app. So once you get that downloaded and installed, you can do things from powering on your lightsaber, and of course we're going to have our original gesture control, so if you're out and about you can do it that way, to accessing all of the other features. So let's hop into the app and check some of those out. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do that I've been sending everybody to is going to the data modify feature here, and you're gonna manually turn on your saber, and you're going to come down here to customize light length, and I'm going to tell you why that's so important. So once you get it on, you'll see the whole saber lit up. Typically it'll be at a really high number, but if we come down low, you'll see only part of the blade is lit up. If you come down high, way more than the blade that you need is lit up. So for all of your effects to really look their best, especially like your drag effect, you want to find that sweet spot. So I recommend like coming down until a little bit of the blade is darker, and then just bumping it up until that brightness is right at that tip there at its brightest. And that is your light length on there. Once you have that set, you're good to go with all your features. So if you look in here in the app, you'll have your saber control, blade effects, sound fonts, the data modify, and setup. So if you come into saber control, you can power on your saber from here. You'll be able to check out your blaster effect on whatever font you're on. The lockup, clash, your force effect. You can turn on your background music here if you want. Your melt, stab, drag, which is why that length is so important. You can see all of it right there at the tip, and you can check out your smooth swing hum if you want to take a listen to that as well. Now, if we come down a little further, you'll be able to check out and switch your blade colors. So right now we're on red, and we can cycle through all the different colors on there. So this is a really quick and easy way if you can't remember your gesture control while you're out and about. You can switch your sound font here. So this is where you can cycle through all your different characters. We'll check out a couple and see what we have installed.
Temple Guard.
Check out the blaster on here. The Temple Guard lightsaber is one of my favorites, and if you guys want to see our review of that saber, check out the link above. Let's see the force effect on here. Very cool. Our drag, very cool. Let's check out a couple of our other fonts.
Empress. Leia. Ahsoka. Anakin.
So as you can see, we have a ton of different sound fonts already installed. And as always, the best part about the Neopixels is you can purchase and install any character font that you want in it with the included cards. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other things on here so we can switch our blade effects. So here we have a flashing blade. check out 2 more of these.
Blade Pulse.
Pulse.
Blade Rainbow.
And rainbow effect. And we can also change how the lightsaber ignites, aka the boot effect.
Counter Ignition. Cross Ignition.
That one's really fun. And let's go ahead and swap up the blade color so we can see these a little better. You can actually change the blade color on the rainbow. That's pretty neat. I don't think I've ever done that before. Let's switch our blade effect really quick.
Blade as the blade stable.
All right, we're back to our stable, and let's check out one more boot effect.
Pure Ignition.
So lots of really fun ways to customize within here. And then another one of my favorites is down at the bottom, you can switch your volume. So right now I have it at about 40%. If you want to mute it, you can turn it all the way down, and then it's going to be nice and quiet for when you're doing spinning at home, or if you're out at Galaxy's Edge and don't want to bother everybody around you, you can have that muted, or turn it up if you want it super loud at 100%. And then you can blast your ears out with the blaster effect. So tons of features on this saber. I'm gonna show you one more of my favorites, and then the rest I'm gonna let you figure out and have fun with on your own. If you come back to that data modify section, if you come to color palettes, this is where you can pick any color for your lightsaber blade. On Neopixels, we couldn't do that before. That was a cool feature we had with the Profi versions of our course. But now you can just come here to the color palette and pick any color you want. You can have a lime green, you can have orange or a yellowish, you can have a kind of hot pink saber if you want. So as you can see, you can really customize that color palette and just really make the saber your own. I hope you all enjoyed taking a look at the upgraded version of the saber. It is really nice, and I'm so glad to have both because they're similar but very different in many ways, and I will definitely find different purposes and uses for each one of those. Again, if you guys want to get your hand on one of these, don't forget to use code Falcon at checkout. Right now you get 20% off on the saber plus a free lightsaber along with it. So really great deal, and make sure to check out some of our other saber reviews on the side. I'll see you guys there.